first, the big one, the keto diet, that it's been really popular. A lot of people are doing it. What are some good things and some bad things about it?
So, in general, one of the good things about the keto diet is it seeks to limit how many carbohydrates or sugars you're putting in. And I think we can all agree that a diet high in sugars and carbs leads to weight gain. How the keto diet is different is that it basically wants you to consume about 70% of your calories as fat. And that's a lot. That's more than we normally recommend. And so it is a high fat, moderate protein, low carb diet. Most diets in general try to limit how much fat you put in as well, because fats are also very high in calories. The idea is that fats fill you up more so you eat less. I have a hard time with that as a weight loss surgeon, because putting fat in to lose fat just, 2 plus 2 needs to equal 4 at the end of the day. So we're looking at consuming a lot of fat in order to try to lose fat. And that's basically the keto diet. Some people had success with it, but again, it's going to be a combination of making good food choices and increasing activity.
Mm-hmm. Are there some certain health risks? Because I've been told by a few people that you're eating those high-fat foods like bacon and cheese and all that stuff that goes straight to your arteries, can clog your arteries. Is there some long-term health effects that you see with this?
Well, we see, in general, I think most cardiologists or heart doctors would recommend diets that are lower in fat, because foods that are keto-friendly as bacon and cheese, they are high in cholesterol, they are high in fat. It's the kind of fat that goes to your heart vessels and can clog them up and lead to heart attack. So it's almost like we kind of come full circle from don't eat your bacon and eggs in the morning, they'll give you a heart attack, to it's okay to eat your bacon and eggs in the morning because you'll lose weight. And so, I tend to think that things high in fat and high in cholesterol are bad for you.
Mm-hmm. Going through some other diets that you mentioned earlier, I'm not sure, what were the others?
So like liquid diets, OptiFast, MetaFast.
Okay, yeah, the liquid diets. Let's talk about those for a second. What are the good things, the bad things as well?
So the thing about liquid diets, and they're fairly popular and they're still around and they've been around for a long time, is that you'll consume a lot less in calories. And when you consume less calories, you're going to lose weight. The problem with liquid diets, as in any diet, is that our patients are never full on them. And it is hard to get full without food in your stomach, because liquids actually will just kind of go through your stomach. And fullness is dictated by eating food sitting in the stomach, sending a signal back to the brain that you're full, and you stop eating. So liquids, you really never get there. And then after the diet's over, let's say someone's lost that weight, then they want to go off the diet and they go back to food. That's when we see all the weight regain. And that's probably one of the diets that we see fail the most, is the liquid diet. Again, mostly because it's not sustainable. It's not like you can be on a liquid diet the rest of your life. You got to get back on food at some point. So for our standpoint, liquid diets work because there are a lot less calories, but it is probably the hardest one for patients to maintain any kind of weight loss after they get off of it.
Mm-hmm. And it sounds to me, I would think that you're not getting all the nutrients maybe that you need from whole food.
So a lot of the protein supplements we have now are considered meal replacements, and they come with a lot of vitamins and minerals, and they're pretty complete. And so you're not going to really have too much in the way of vitamin deficiencies and stuff like that. For every patient out there, we always recommend you should be on a multivitamin and calcium supplement anyway. But I think you're right. You're probably at higher risk for developing something if you just stay on a liquid diet for the rest of your life. You're not getting some of the good things that are out there in food.
Mm-hmm. And I would think, I've been to the supplement stores and all that, and the protein shakes, they can be expensive. You would think that this could burn a hole in your pocket pretty fast.
Well, you're right. You can walk into a lot of the supplement stores around town and buy a big tub of protein for $60, and that may last you 5 days. So cost effectiveness, I would say none of these diets are cost effective when it comes to losing weight, or how much did it cost to lose 5 pounds or 10 pounds, especially if you go right back to putting it back on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's another thing, that kind of the foods that are healthier for you seem to be more expensive. Whereas you go to the grocery store, you throw a bunch of stuff in your cart that's bad for you, it seems less expensive.
Well, and it's why we have such a problem with obesity in this country right now is fast foods are very accessible. They're usually cheaper and they're easier to get. And so when you're in a time crunch, people tend to go to that. Healthy foods, you need to walk into a grocery store, a natural grocer, or something like that. And it takes time to prepare that meal, so there's planning and preparation that take place. They are more expensive, however, you're going to eat less of it. And so that's where we see the trade-off is that, yes, it takes more time to prepare, and most people aren't willing to put that kind of time into their eating. And so, again, it just comes down to timing, cost, and preparation, and those seem to be another reason why a lot of these diets don't work.
Mm-hmm. And was paleo another diet that you had mentioned?
Yeah, so paleo is a diet, and it's supposed to mimic kind of what cavemen were eating back in the Paleolithic age, dinosaurs and cavemen and whatnot. And basically, obesity wasn't an issue back then. But obesity really wasn't an issue in America in the 1920s either. It was when we became industrialized and moved into office buildings and computers, and that's when we saw the obesity rate start to really skyrocket. So I'm not sure you have to go all the way back to what cavemen ate, which was basically meats and vegetables. So it's, again, going to be high in protein, low in carbs, and low in fat. So you want a good, healthy mix of all those is what we see. Again, it comes down to calories in, calories out, what you're putting in, what types of foods, how well your body can process that. Are you adding any kind of activity on the side? So I think the paleo diet in general has some good principles, but although obesity wasn't an issue back in the caveman days, it also wasn't an issue in America in the 1920s, 30s, 40s, and 50s.